what makes it challenging? Like, okay, you see someone you like, and then what's the approach?
I'm attracted to a lot of women. Like, women are beautiful, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, that doesn't mean that they're gonna be good mates
Yeah,
in a relationship.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on, you know what I mean, when we go out and we get to date and we get to know each other, how that aspect goes, if it's gonna continue.
Mm-hmm.
But after like a month or two, it's like, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Like, so, and I'm not one to just rush into anything just because it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I really gotta feel you, like, in order to. I mean, I don't think I have a lot of high standards. Would you think I know you were saying something.
I was gonna say, I feel like your standards are super high,
I'm just letting
and
you speak right now.
you a little shallow,
Before I
probably. You
say
got a
anything.
specific
It's
type.
I'm
You got
shallow?
a type.
Wait,
I think you got a
how do you
type.
know he's shallow?
She assuming.
I'm assuming I am. I'm making an assumption. You got a specific type, a specific woman you want it to be.
I don't think I got a specific type.
And if she don't fit that mold, that criteria, it's like, I don't want it.
Tell us. We might be able to help
She
you.
on to something. That's all I'm saying.
Would
sound
you
like
date
you're right.
somebody that you wouldn't normally go after? Would you completely remove the visual aspect of it, right? Let's say you like light-skinned girls. Would you then switch up and do dark?
Interesting.
She read.
Yo. You know what I
gotta
mean?
chill,
Like,
bro.
Welcome back to another episode of Daily Wrap Up Crew. No booger, but I go by the name of Eli. As always, follow me on IG, the real Y Eli. Shoot me a DM. I promise I'm gonna get back to them. I ain't got that many DMs, so I'm gonna definitely see it. I ain't like them. They gonna be like, oh, I ain't see it. Like, I'm gonna see them. And I'm gonna reply back, man. Anyway, we got Ace with us.
Yes, indeed. The king of the intros. I take responsibilities, and I don't take L's like women don't take accountability. You heard?
Oh,
They should go 24.
Damn. Come on, bro.
Shot.
I gotta go
That's,
after.
that's, that's,
Yo, we switching the rotation. I'm going after. I'm going after
all right,
you.
we gonna, all right, we gonna.
Come on, bro.
we
That
gonna
was
figure it out.
nice.
That was
man.
tough.
Nah, cause y'all was coming for me last show, like I'll be writing and shit. So I mean, I gotta show y'all how to do it. You know what I mean?
Last but not
Shit.
least, we got
Yo,
Jew.
man, I'm Jew, man. I'm gonna just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Are y'all accountable?
Yes,
All right,
yes,
that's it.
absolutely.
Anyway, we got some special guests. Ladies, let them know where they can follow you at.
Hi, yes, I'm Lee, and you can follow me at Butte by Lee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Chris Lee, but some people call me Crystal. And my IG is She Got It Like That.
And I'm Imani, and you can follow me at Imani Was Here.
Listen, before we get into these topics, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you are not already subscribed. Hit the notification bell. That's important because y'all need to stay up to date
Are you good today?
on all the episodes. I'm just like going through them mad quick and shit like that. Like, yo, join the membership. Cop the merch, man.
You feel me?
And listen to the podcast of audio every Tuesday, 6 a.m. Let me get to this first topic, right? It says, do you believe men and women are equal in relationships? What's your thoughts on this?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think we're all human, so we're equal. We deserve the same level of respect, love, care, honor. So I think in that capacity, we're equal. Do I think that we should be doing equal parts in the relationship? I think that that's where it gets a little dicey. Because I feel like, in the relationship, everyone has their own responsibilities specific to the relationship, not to the gender.
Okay.
I concur with that. I do. As somebody who's in a relationship, right?
Okay, you guys.
Sound like you.
It's fresh.
Offline?
Right? Yes. Like we've kind of
That's a hard
outlined.
Right. Big one.
Yes. We've
Does he know
outlined.
y'all in a relationship? Because it sounds like you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I was just, because you sounded a little hesitant.
I let the man lead. He got to tell me what's going on. I
Okay.
don't make no assumptions, no delusions over here. Okay? You got to tell me what you want. But yes, as a man, there's certain things that I would like him to do and responsibilities and obligations that is completely different as me as a woman, so we're separate but equal in a sense.
Yeah, I agree with both. I think that equality isn't the same as sameness. So even though we're equal, we're different, right? Women operate different. We think different. Men do the same. They think differently. They operate differently. But I think that knowing your differences and respecting the differences between the two is what's really important when it comes to like relationships and being equal.
I'm a bit confused. It sounds contradictory. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we're equal, but then you guys are reassuring us that, but we got different roles. Like, so how are we equal? Because we know biologically we are obviously different. You know what I mean? So, you know, when you're talking about in a relationship, like what part do you think is equal, or what part do you think is different in a relationship?
Well, I think so when you're saying you're confused, like we're saying equal but different, that's just like the same way that, you know, you might be, say whatever career you're in, you're making a certain amount of money, and then I'm in a different career and I'm making a different amount of money. We're still equal as people, but we're in different roles in our lives and in our careers. So I think if you're looking for like a way to sum it up, that's an example of just like how you're equal to your friend here, you're equal to us, but we're all doing different roles in lives.
So would you say men are equally just as nurturing as women in a relationship?
Yes,
they can be.
If they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can be. There's some women that aren't nurturing, and the man might do the nurturing in that relationship. But it really just depends on what each person in that specific relationship comes with. If I'm coming with 20% nurturing, I probably do need to find a man that's 80% nurturing. Versus, you know, if I'm coming with 50% nurturing, I maybe only need a man that also has 50% nurturing. It may not be like necessary for him to have so much of that nurturing attribute if I'm already coming with a certain amount. But if I'm deficient in a certain area, I am looking for a partner to fill that area in the ways that I can't.
But then that's kind of not equal.
No, and I kind of agree to disagree with that. So I think that I speak for myself, I am a nurturing person. But I also need someone who's nurturing as well, because if I'm constantly being the one to pour out, who's pouring into me?
So he needs to be as equally as nurturing as you.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be a complete balance, but I think not that far of a difference. You said 80, like 20, like that's.
So you 100, he gotta be like 80.
No, not necessarily, but just someone who is, if they're not naturally nurturing, they want to learn. They want to put in the work to try to get there because I'm like that.
Okay. I think we like the idea of people being equal, like, but I just don't think in a relationship people are equal. I think people are designed to have specific roles that complement each other, like, you know what I mean? So when everybody's equal, I just don't think it's possible for everybody to be. I think women have a certain specific role that they're biologically better at than men at, and then men I think have roles that are biologically just better at than women when it comes to relationship, like, you know what I mean? I think those two come together and form a great bond that makes the relationship this compatible in a sense. So, you know what I mean? So it sounds good to, are we all equal? I know this feminism is like everybody's equal, but I think it's good that, you know, some people have different, I guess responsibilities or just different attributes that contribute to a relationship, and others have something different, that balance. So, you know what I mean? I think we lack that balance because we're too busy trying to find something to be equal. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
What's your thoughts on this?
Nice.
I don't know. In my experience, I don't think that the roles in the relationship is equal. I think from the beginning, the man is doing more in the relationship to make it work. You know what I mean? The woman just being the one courted, you know what I mean? So she's really not doing much except, you know what I mean, looking pretty, coming outside. You know what I mean? I'm going to pick you up, I'm taking you out on dates, I'm bringing you flowers. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, I don't think it's equal. When you get into the relationship, I guess she does a little bit more in order to keep her partner happy. But I still think that it still falls on the man to, because, you know, the man is the leader in the relationship. So you lead and she follows. So you still doing more at the end of the day, in my opinion.
So it's not equality, it's balance. It's trying to find balance in a relationship.
I ain't gonna. Does that sound like balance though? I mean, it's not like men are.
I'm a little.
It's a virgin. Yeah. It's the what's the like? It's what they paint as the version of balance, like for you, like, because, you know, it's like in society, relationships is more geared towards women. So society paints it as balance, but it's not really balance in reality.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that's my first time ever hearing that relationships are geared towards women.
Yeah. You don't think so?
No, I think that, especially, I mean, when you think about historically, men basically bought their wives as property, and they were purchased to do for the men. When it was time for decisions to be made, that was all done by the man in favor of the man's best interest. And then women bear children for men. So I think the idea, that's how it's been historically, I'm saying. Like, women we didn't even have rights. So I think the idea that relationships are geared towards them when...
I mean, since the beginning of time, men have been doing for women. Like, even in the caveman days, y'all stay home, they go out and risk their lives to hunt and get food and clothe you and everything. Like, that was for the women and the children. It's not.
What are they coming home to, though? The wife is staying at home and doing what?
Cooking the food that I just went out to kill. What you mean?
Like, I mean, do you know how to cook? You want to kill it and cook it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could kill it and cook it myself. Like, yeah.
So you don't feel like women are a necessity?
That's insane.
No, I don't think he
the
feels that is a
hesitation is
necessity.
nuts.
I think you guys are doing a great job at flipping what he's saying.
What?
I do think you guys are doing a great job at flipping what he's saying. He's saying that he can initiate and do everything that you would need, but if he gave you a role to follow, that's the more suitable, safe one for you. And in his leadership, he said, okay, if I'm going to risk my life and go cook, and I meant to go hunt and put myself out there, I'm protecting you from everything else. You know, we appreciate you being the cook or whatever role you're taking, but you gotta really, be happy that a man is making your life a little bit more easier.
That's true.
I have a question.
I acknowledge that.
Why do you talk about the role of a man as if it's a burden? Why are you not proud to be the leader, proud to be the provider?
I know, so I wasn't proud of it, but it's still a burden, though. Yeah. Just because I got to do it.
Because, we want to do this for our family and significant other, but it comes with a risk. That's always a burden. Like, anything that comes with a risk is going to be a burden. Not saying that we're ungrateful for it. Yeah. I think throughout society, like when I just think about it now, and you just said it, like I think men have more of a sense of duty when it comes to relationship and just society that I don't think women necessarily have. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, men, like you said, men, their purpose is to go out to protect and provide for the woman. Like, so there's that inherent duty there, like, you know what I mean, that I have. Like, when I think about women, I don't see any duty that you guys have
to serve your family.
To serve, but if the man didn't give you the family, who would you be serving?
To serve the man, family or not. You're serving in loyalty and what you're doing in the home and how you're caring for them.
Saying if you didn't have,
we make the house the home.
If you didn't have a man, if women didn't have a man or a family to serve, what will be their duty in society?
Serving a sis.
Right.
To take care of themselves in the same way that a man would be taking care of himself and protecting themselves.
That's very selfish, though. Like,
if a man didn't have a family to provide and protect for, what would they be doing?
He would still be providing. He would have to look after his community. Like, whether he had a girlfriend or a wife or a kid,
you gotta protect his
you gotta protect your sisters, your aunt, your mother. Like, that's still a duty.
Women have to do that too.
We're still raising our brothers or sisters. We're still caring for the elderly.
There's a lot of families
coming up with the book drives and the bake sales and all the stuff that y'all don't want to do. We are outside.
What don't men don't want to do?
I'm sorry?
I said, you said
y'all coming up.
Yeah, do you want to do the bake sale for your kids?
But you doing that for who, though? If you don't have children.
There's children in the community. We're
serving
the community as well.
Y'all here having bake sales for the community?
School supply drives and coat drives and things like that. It may not
Dance
be a bake sale per se, but
the girls need clothes and we sew it up and we make designs for them and they want billboards and we're doing all that stuff.
Okay.
So
you guys brought up the fact that back in history, whatever, the man took that role and the woman did this, right? And she was more nurturing. She had more time and effort to do that. Would you say that the financial gain of women has been the reason why modern women have an issue of relationships?
I think modern people have an issue with relationships.
I mean, men are still doing the same.
The financial gain in what aspect? As making more money?
Huh?
As making money, making more money?
Yeah, because you said the only reason, because you guys were bought, which I don't agree with. I mean, like, men spent money or whatever the case may be, but you're saying women were bought to be wives?
With the dowry. Yeah, that's how the systems were at that time. Yeah.
Way before we were born.
But I'm saying now, women have freedom and they don't want to spend their money. They don't want to be affectionate. They don't want to be committed. They don't want to be nurturing. There's a lot of things where it's conflicted.
Okay, let me ask y'all. So, like, the women that we're overgeneralizing right now, are these just like internet, social media conversations you're basing these off of? Or these are real
I
women
mean,
that you know?
I have
Yes,
I don't
these
know
real
women like that.
life.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm on a
I don't
show.
know
I'm on a
anyone
show,
more.
and I speak to 3 to 4 women
Yeah.
over 200 episodes. And when you ask these questions, you know, I get looked at as the bad guy because I might say like, "Yo, you shouldn't think like that. Men love you too," or you know, whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. I'm not saying this is you
Yeah.
that I'm describing.
Yeah, but we have many women on the show tell us that they don't want to be married. You know what I mean? Like they would prefer to just be a baby moms and stuff like that. So like,
Really?
Yeah, that being a single, we hear all the time that, you know, being a wife, there's more responsibility to being a wife than it is to being just a mother. Like, you know what I mean? Which is why you see a lot more out of wedlock, you know, children being born out of wedlock. You know what I mean? Because they feel like being a wife is just more responsibility. Like, I'd rather just be a baby mom. Whether that's on purpose or not, it's just that you're just looking at marriage from a lens of it's a lot of responsibility. I'm not sure if I'm quite ready for it.
I don't know if it's more responsibility. I guess it's a responsibility that they're not wanting to take on. Like, you know what I mean, I do it for my children. I'm not going to do it for a man. It's what it's what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I appreciate it. As someone who was previously married, you know, I've gone through the marriage process. I've
You have kids?
married for 5 years. Yes, I do have 2 kids. I appreciate marriage. I wanted it. I was a part of it, and I would do it again. I would absolutely do it again. I know in my heart I am better with a partner. I'm better with a husband than I am single.
That's great to hear. I appreciate you.
So I do need that partnership in order for me to thrive in life, to do better. I do need that masculinity in my life.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I think just real quick, just to go back to the original topic, because when it comes down to equality, like between men and women, we was talking about relationships, but I think this is what happens. You know, we had an episode with the, you know, transgender woman, and I think what happened even in the Olympics, what you're seeing now is that women are saying that, you know, a man can be a woman, or they're just as equal as a woman, so therefore they can compete in our sports. And now when they dominate those sports, now it becomes an issue. But like I always say, the biggest advocates for trans women have always been biological women. Those women are the ones who keep saying that men can be women. Like, you know what I mean? So now when they enter your spaces or they participate in the sports, now it becomes an issue. And you see that it's not equal. They have an advantage. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, it sounds good in people's head, like, oh, we're all equal and we all have the same blah, blah, blah. But in reality, we don't. We're not all equal, and we have certain abilities and flaws that are there for a reason. Like, you know what I mean?
I think in the world, men and women are not equal. So I think that is something that's very clear. I think that's something we can all agree on. But I think within your relationship, you can decide what the dynamic is. Because if I'm in a relationship with someone who I'm not working at all, they're bringing home all the bacon and things of that nature, then the dynamic might be different if we're both millionaires. You know what I mean? When we can really go toe to toe for everything, where there isn't a big bank, take a little bank, because we both have a big bank. So I really think that, no, we're not. I don't believe that when I go into the world that I'm equal to a man or a man is equal to me, nor do I think that the roles that we possess like in the world are equal in that way. But I think within my relationship and within everyone's relationship, you can decide how equal or how unequal you want to be. Some people don't want to be the person in charge and responsible or with the burden of doing this, and that. And some people do. So it's just like the relationships that I have occupied up until this point, right now, I feel like they're as equal as they can be. And then obviously, you know, once to go further, once I'm a wife, once I'm, you know, a mom, there's gonna be a lot of changes in that dynamic. But yeah, in the world, no. But in your relationship, you decide how that is, just like your household.
All right. That's fair. I feel like we could talk about this. I already got a couple of more talking points. I'm like, yo, let me just get to the next topic. Let me get to the next topic. How do you approach the concept of parenting your parents as you become an adult?
Sheesh.
I mean, yeah.
I have a Hispanic Puerto Rican mother. So trying to parent my mom is like a non-negotiable. Like, she's not trying to hear it. Stuck in her ways. You know, in her generation, in that generation, therapy wasn't a thing. And even if it was, they weren't open to it. So a lot of healing that needs to be done. You know, hurt kids become hurt adults and then become hurt parents. And I think that it's something that we're still navigating. I'm still learning. But I'm also a mom. I also have 2 kids, and she's a great grandmother. I'll give her that. And she's into the soft parenting per se, and I never have to worry about her like maybe yelling at my kids or doing anything that I had to deal with as an adult. So I appreciate that. I think there's growth there. So I'll give her credit there. But I don't really have a set answer on that because it's still something that I'm like navigating on how to do that now that I'm seeking therapy, now that I'm healing from my childhood and now I'm a parent.
Do you think that's fair to you to have to embrace that role?
I don't think it's fair. I think it's the cards that I was dealt, and so I'm gonna deal with them how the best I can. I think some of it molded me into the mom that I am, and I'm grateful to have gone through certain things that I know that I'm absolutely never gonna do and not do as a mother. And now that I'm a mom, it gives me the opportunity to do it the right way.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a parent, I want to always stay the parent. I don't want my daughter or my son to grow up to feel like they now have to parent me. I'm always going to be the parent. They're always going to be a child, no matter how old they are. It's my job to always be a role model, always set a good example, always be there for them, provide whatever it is they may need, even if there are adults, provide home, shelter, awareness, advice, love, respect. So it should never be a dynamic for me in my life where my kids now have to, parent me. Do they want me to move in with them or something like that? That's different. You want to take care of mom. You want to buy me a crib. You want to take me on vacation. That's cool. You want to show your appreciation as, my child. But to parent me, no, I will always be the parent.
Well, now, when you say parent, do you mean like being responsible for them, being able like to discipline them, not like physically, but just like have that leadership over them? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Even if they go to college, they're in relationships, I'm there to provide that guidance still. I should be still someone that they should go to.
Safe space.
If they ever, it's a safe space for them, a home for them. If relationships don't work out and you need to come back home, for example, come back home. Don't stay on the street. I would never be a type of parent where it's like, oh, you're 18 now, it's time for you to go. No, like you will always have a place to stay. You will always have a home, someone to call, someone to talk to. Like that's my job as the parent, as the leader, to always be there for you, no matter what.
Okay.
Wow, yeah. So I don't have children, but I do have a mom and a dad, and I think that my parents have always been like very good friends to me. And I think that as I become an adult and set like my own values of what I think adulting is and success is, it definitely made me realize like they didn't grow up fully, or I guess in the way that I had aimed to grow up. And so there is a lot of parenting that I do with my parents. And I feel like I used to resent it a little bit because especially when I graduated, I just felt like there was so much stuff that they just hadn't taught me. And then I was just like, why didn't you teach me this? And then I had to realize they don't know it. Like there's a lot of stuff that they just don't know. And in addition to not knowing, like that they still haven't done. And so the idea of me being frustrated with them for not doing these things and not teaching me things, it's like, okay, I can be pissed off or I can just do them and then show them that like, this is how you do it. And at least you gave me, whether it was the resources, you didn't give me the resource or material, but you gave me the gumption to be like, all right, fuck it, I got to do this for my family in that way. But there is a lot of parenting that goes into my relationships with my mom. And I definitely do try to do it in like a softer way. Cause again, there is that frustration of like, why you got your shit together? But then it's like, it's life. And once you realize that your parents are not, they're human. And a lot of the things that they are dealing with present day were things that they were probably dealing with when they were your age. So it's tough, but you just have to realize like everyone is a person. Like even though they're your parent, they are their own person too.
Do you feel like you got to teach them like day-to-day life things, like doing taxes or buying a home? Like
not things like that. Definitely like interpersonal things, how to manage their platonic relationships, familial relationships, how to just be an adult, like to not be so overwhelmed with emotions, to not be so overreactive. Even like, the whole therapy thing, like parents do not be trying to hear that shit. Like you can tell them all day long how therapy helps you and then they get offended that you're in therapy because it's just like, well, I did this and that.
Telling
and
people our business. Why you telling people our business?
And then I'm a big, like, when people vent to me too often about the same thing, I'm eventually gonna be like, you should go to therapy, you should go talk to someone.
Right.
And that is immediately like, oh, well, it doesn't work for me, which I know it doesn't work for everyone, but you can't just be coming to me, you know, like, because I have to carry that. So
it's a completely different world that, you know, our parents grew up in from what
Yes.
we're growing up in. So
Yeah.
I do sympathize with them for that.
yeah,
lot of grace.
they don't know what's
Yeah.
going on right now. They have no idea what's going on.
I think we living in a time where a lot of information is just accessible to us. So I've learned a lot that my parents never knew. Like when it comes to credit, like I was mad. Like I'm like, yo, mom, why you ain't teach me about credit from young? And she was like, man, I didn't even know about this shit. Like, so I'm like, yo, I find myself like, you know what I mean, learning things and teaching my parents about them too. So I just think that in this day and age, that since information is so accessible, it's easier for us to learn, and that way is you're gonna have to double back and teach your parents so they could be successful too. You know what I mean? Because maybe the cards that they was dealt at their age, because even me coming up in school, like I'm like, damn, they could have taught us this when we was in elementary school instead of the fucking Pythagorean theorem. What the fuck I need to know that for? You know what I mean? Like, yo, you know what I mean? So I can imagine what they was teaching them back in their days. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think in that aspect there, that's why I parent my parents.
Yeah,
I think that you know, I talk to my mom all the time, and you know, she's in a position where she's taking care of her father, my grandfather, and he's like, I think 92. And you know, every day she's telling me like it is a lot for her to have to, you know, deal with him because, you know, he's 92. He does have a very misogynistic way of thinking because that's how he grew up. You're talking about 80 plus years of programming that it's not going to change, and he's not going to change at this point. He just has that program in him. So just her dealing with him, you know, how he even treats her, like, you know, how he talks to her is very tough. And she be telling me like, listen, son, I never want to become a burden to you. Like how you know I'm dealing with my father, and it's just, you know, it's a lot because she never thought she would have to be in that situation to you know take care of her you know her parents and stuff, a parent and stuff like that. So it's a lot for her, and then I'm learning through her, you know, what she's going through and the stress that she's dealing with, and she's just letting me know like we coming up with plans like in case X, Y, and Z. Like, you know, like not too long ago my mom had like a mini stroke, and she's telling me like she's coming up with plans like, listen, if it does happen and I have a full-on stroke, like this is how I want you to handle the situation, X, Y, and Z, like X, you know what I mean? So it's like contingency plans because she doesn't want me to deal with like her being in a vegetative state. And what do I do in that situation? Do, you know, God forbid I put her out of misery? Do I continue to like, you know what I mean? And she's like, we're just having these conversations. So yeah, so she's just like, you know, we're just having these conversations, and it's just teaching me a lot about just becoming older, your parents getting older, taking care of them and stuff like that. So, you know. Yeah,
they say once a man, twice a baby or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's inevitable. Like you're gonna have to
100%.
you're gonna have to eventually be the parent, because I work with one of my coworkers or whatever, he taking care of his mom now. And I be on the phone with him sometimes and he be talking to his mom like she the kid. You know what I mean? I'm like, who you talking to? Oh, that's just my mom. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, damn, yo, I know she wanna beat your ass right now. Like,
Wow.
I find it like more common in my growth of growing up. This is a hard topic because I didn't grow up with any parent, you know what I'm saying? So I probably at the age of 14, 15, I was already renting a room. So which may seem cool to others, you know, growing up, I seen my friends, they was like, yo, you free. But I'm wondering why the fuck I ain't get a phone call, you know, where the fuck I'm at. So but, you know, now at this point in my life, you know, I'm building a relationship with my mom, and I'm realizing I was already from, you know, before I was a teenager, embracing a role as a father for my little sister. So I was already being a parent before I even got to, you know, enjoy my childhood.
Yeah.
So I find it common that, you know, this is happening to a lot of my peers even, you know, we have to be parents from young age. I see kids, you know, that's bilingual handling business that they don't even know what the hell they talking about. You get what I'm saying? Being, you know, just communicating for the parents.
Yeah,
translating. And I just had this issue with my mom very recently where I was telling her like, yo, you know, do you have life insurance? And she was like, no. And I was like, yo, we gotta, you know, talk about that. And she, you know, her immediate reaction was like, oh, you trying to kill me? You worrying about money? And I'm just like,
trying to take me out.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about that. You know, not she's thinking about like the money and a lot of these
Think about
other
security in long term.
Yeah.
I don't want to be dealt with like all this debt from
Yeah.
something that I can't, you know. And I'm not saying I don't love my mom, you know what I'm saying? But this is a person that I didn't know growing up. So now I'm held with the responsibility of taking care of you and holding you, you know, holding all your responsibilities, and you don't even want, and you don't want to even connect with me to think that I'm thinking about money. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people get stuck in these situations where you just don't know where to turn. People in sports, they spend all their money on buying their family fancy houses and big cars when that money really ain't there. You get what I'm saying? So we're just counting people's pockets. You know, parents see you got a job. It's time for you to invest and give your money back into them. So it's very hard.
No, that's a fact.
So this is I'm glad we had this conversation. This is a really deep conversation. Like, so
look at that.
Let me get to this next topic. What has been your biggest challenge when it comes to adulting, and how have you overcame that?
Oh, I don't know if we overcame it yet. I think we still figuring it out. I think you spoke a little bit on it, like, you know, learning things now as an adult that you should have been. If I knew what I knew now, I would have been saving at like 15, 14, 10 years old, maybe.
15 months.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I'd have had 1,000 credit score.
Right. Out the womb. I think giving yourself grace, for me, that's been my biggest thing in this season, just giving myself grace because I didn't have the parents that knew the things that I know now, so they didn't know, they weren't able to teach me. So now I'm like parenting myself in some ways. And just taking things day by day. I don't think you ever fully have it all together, whether you're rich, not rich. I think you're constantly learning, and you should be. You should never be at a place where you are stagnant and you're okay being there. Like, I think you're always learning and growing. So I don't think anybody, I mean, I speak for myself, I don't know about y'all, but I haven't figured it out. If I did, give me the notes, the blueprint.
Thanks.
Ask to me too afterwards.
I think for me, the question was the most challenging, right? I think right now I'm at a place where I'm realizing, because again, I grew up with parents that didn't have it, examples of people that didn't always have it together in the way that I thought adulthood would look, like based off of TV shows. And so I was like hyper independent. So it was like, oh, I need to have my own place, and I need to have this type of job, I need to have this and that. And then now I'm realizing, and I think I've known all along, but I think I'm just getting to the point where I'm exasperated with it, where it's like, we should really be living in community with one another. Like, it doesn't mean that you should never leave your home, because I saw a lot of examples of that and I didn't want that. But it's also like, you don't need to be, you know, a young woman living on your own, paying $3,000 in rent if you don't have to, you know, like if you have family that you can, you know, you guys get a place together where it just makes a lot more sense, because you'll find yourself in a position where you can't even like take time off, or you can't even like just do things that you want to do. It's really hard to follow a passion, to be like, oh, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, because your bills and cost of life is so expensive because you've been trying to do everything on your own. And so I think trying to be hyper independent and then realizing like community style living is better. That's like the challenge I'm faced with now, because it's just like, okay, how do I now live in community? You know, like I can't, I don't want to just move back home with my mom, because my mom doesn't even live here. And then you don't want to like rush into a relationship and be like, oh, well, let's just move together because we're already dating. So it's like, you know, you don't want to live with a random roommate. Like, and I've just been on my own so long that it's like, I know I need community style living, but like
living on your own is so addictive.
Yeah, like how will I do that? So I think that's the challenge I'm faced with right now. Like just trying to figure out how to make my current living style best so that I can have everything that I want in my future.
What do you think is the appropriate age to leave your parents' home? I asked that to all of you guys.
For a woman, honestly, for both, but I'm going to speak from a woman's perspective. When you're about to get married, in some cultures, you don't leave the household until a man's putting a ring on your finger and he's taking on somewhat of the responsibility, because I'm independent, so I'm always going to work and do that. I'm not looking for a man to take care of me, but in the sense of like, we're doing this as a partnership now. So now you could go and be on your own. And that goes back to what you were saying, like it's a culture thing. And our culture is like, you're 18, where are you going? Like you need to get out this house.
Go sit your
you're already grown. You're grown. Like you need to get out. And other cultures, they're like, no, stay home, save your money. You know, move out when you're able to get a house instead of paying rent. And now you can't save, like you said, because now you're paying $2,500 for a studio.
Right.
And so, that's my thought.
I like that answer. Yeah.
But even
What
when
about
people getting married in later ages these days, you know what I mean? So you home to you like 38.
Facts.
That
We need
is
y'all
true.
men to get it
That's
together,
fine.
so
That
we're
is
not at
true.
home to 38.
Are
But
you
that's why you
contributing
should
to the
always
house?
have
I don't got an issue.
All right.
have a
So-
home where your kids could come to, right? Give
Mhm.
them the opportunity to go out, live with people, live on their own. But if it doesn't work out,
Mhm.
as a parent, provide that home
Be
where
that
they could
safety
come,
net.
be that safety net where they could
Yeah.
come back to.
I get
So
that.
you don't like you're saying
Mhm.
you're scared, you don't. But if your
Mhm.
mom was inviting to you and said, you know what, you have a safe place,
Yeah.
come here, save your money, you're good, you would have went home already.
Oh yeah, no, that is my situation is always you can always go home.
She
I
doesn't
think
want to
I'm
because
I'm
You don't want
hesitant
to?
because
She don't live here.
I've seen so many
Right.
people. Well, she doesn't live here, but
Yeah.
also like I've seen a lot of people, and this is like I always say that this is a common theme in like Black American families, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm from the South too, but there's always one family member that the family will really try to hold back. Because like you said, like you need someone to take care of the older people. And so like I've noticed that there's
Wow.
always
You gonna stay here and stay with such and
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like it's not
Like a
always
caretaker.
deliberate and it's not always like ill-intended, but you are slowly being crippled from being on your own, whether it be them relying on you too much at a young
Definitely.
age, and then you feel
Mm.
obligated to like stick around. And I've seen so many cycles of that it was just like I'm so scared of staying at home too long to get stuck. Like obviously now I've surpassed that because I'm well aware of it, but
Yeah.
like I think that's why I didn't. Like it was always been an inviting home. Like I have a very loving
Right.
family, but it was just like I don't
don't
want
wanna
to be a
get
neighbor.
trapped.
Yeah, I don't
You
want
don't
to
wanna
get
get
trapped. Like I
trapped.
just want to. I have to show myself because I haven't seen many examples of it. And I haven't. I think staying at home is a beautiful thing. Like especially like you said, if you have a safe space to do it, welcoming arms. But I do think that there is a level of growth that cannot happen, man or female,
Unless you
until you
move
leave the
out.
home. And I
Yeah.
think that once you meet
Mhm.
that level and you're not taking that leap, you kind of regress.
I don't even think you would know how to be a good enough partner if you didn't try to because
Do it on your
when
own.
you
Yeah.
live with your family, it's
Yeah.
a part of you that doesn't have to do the full throttle
Yeah.
of
Right.
everything.
That's
So you're more comfortable and complacent in ways that you just don't even know.
You don't know.
You don't notice.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that is tough because once you go out on your own and you realize, yo, life is fucking kicking my ass right now.
Yo,
Like, you know what I'm
life
saying?
is life in.
You know,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Like I think for me, outside of the outside of just dealing with the finances and stuff like that, that's always been tough because you're kind of figuring out as you go. Like you know what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
right now, I think with me, I've been so programmed to be independent, but like I said, I hate using that word. I just feel like this is called being an adult.
Right.
So all I know is work and pay bills. Like at this point in my life,
Yeah.
so like I just been programmed. I remember talking to my little brother, and he was like, "Man, he's like, yo, you the most consistent person I know. Like you've always had a job, you've always been working, you always had a car." And it felt good for him to say it, but then it also felt like, damn, like am I stagnant?
What
Like
else
I'm
have I
just
done?
just been
Yeah.
doing the same
Yeah.
thing for X amount of years, and I've been doing it. Like you know what I mean? But it's tough. I think learning how to, for me, just learning how to become less selfish. I think me living on my own, me not having kids, I enjoy being by myself a little bit too much than I like to
Mhm.
admit. Like you know what I mean?
Same.
So
Yeah.
like me, a good weekend to me is staying at home, just playing the game. Like you know what I mean? I don't enjoy going out like that no more.
Mhm.
Like you know what I mean? And I find that I think that's a flaw for me because it's making me less wanting to be as social and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's just the biggest two for me right now. I probably got a list, but I'm gonna just let
Do you
somebody.
think like working early prevented you from like pursuing like your real dreams or aspirations?
Yeah, 'cause I worked right after. As soon as I graduated, it was like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, get a job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't
Mhm.
even get a chance to really pursue college like that because it was just like, yo, you a man. I think it's different, like restrictions on them. Like, because I seen with my sister, it was always like the family was pushing her to go stay at home, get an education. But when it came to me, it felt like they was pushing me to work. You know what I mean? It wasn't like go get an education. It was like, you got to be out here, be a man, provide, and whatever the case is. Where my sister was like more of like, oh, you can stay as long as you want. Go, you got to pay no bills. Just go get an education. And I think a lot of times what we're seeing that dynamic with men and women is that we're motivating our women to go out and get that education while we're telling our men from early. Like you got to get out the house, you got to be a man, you got to go pay bills. Like, you know what I mean? So we don't give our boys that luxury to go and explore a higher education for the most part. I'm not saying with everybody, but I'm starting. I see that
common.
trend a lot more. Like, what's your thoughts? What's the hardest thing?
Man, I agree with everything you guys said. I think that embracing adulthood is probably like the biggest issue in my life. I think I had to be an adult really early, like I just said. So, but I would also grant my children access to my home forever as well. I wouldn't rush them. I want them to take the time and opportunity to know what they want to be and when they want to be it. And but at the same time, I don't want them I want to enjoy my house. I want to be able to walk around butt ass naked too one day. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying all these bills.
So nice.
My dick got to swing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
titties out.
you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna make it uncomfortable for them a little bit. Like put some, light there, but you always could come here. You know what I mean? So,
and Ju, can I ask you a quick question? Yeah. Since you have been an adult so long, I mean, that's not anything I've ever experienced. Do you feel like, because I like a lot of people I know, they're exhausted, and I've only been adulting for like the normal amount of time, I guess. Like, do you feel just tired as fuck? Like, how do you feel? Like, do you feel angry? Like,
I hate the world sometimes. Like personally, like sometimes I might be taking it out on my friends or other people because it's just like nobody knows what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. You know what I mean? Sometimes you always got to be the bigger person, or you got to be the one that, like, I'm cool with being a leader, but like, damn, can I get a break?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why do I always got to make all the decisions? Or why I always got, like I said, I never got the chance to be a kid. So I harnessed, even he just said, yo, you so childish. I embrace those moments because I'm happy to have them. You know what I mean? So as we all should.
Yeah.
I think another thing that I just thought about too is, specifically for men, I think the ability for us not to ask for help is like that pride factor. Like, you know what I mean? Like it'd be times where like, I want to ask for help, and it's just that pride factor. Is just,
that's a fact.
It's just people telling me like, you're a man, you ain't supposed to ask for help. Like, you know what I mean? You're supposed to do it on your own. Like, and I tend to struggle with that at the time as being an adult, is just asking for help. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I got to do everything on my own, or I'm gonna be looked at as less of a man if I do ask for help.
But what about when you stuck and you are asking for help and people are looking at you like you are a grown ass man and why you asking for help? You get what I'm saying?
That's sassy. You had a man asking for that's sassy.
The same way.
It shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't, but
but it is.
The biggest challenge for me is monetizing my happiness, finding a way, right? Because I've been, all right, I want to be an accountant. That didn't work. Oh, I want to do this. That didn't work. I spent so many years trying to figure out a career or a job that's going to fill my soul and make me happy.
Yeah.
And still get paid for it. So that's been the biggest thing, because it's like, yeah, we can all find jobs. We can do a 9-to-5, but if it's not feeding your soul, it's not fulfilling, then what the fuck are we doing? Like, we're literally just living to work, eat shit, and die. That's all we're going to do. So that's
the norm. That's the average person.
But it shouldn't be normal.
More than that.
Then they push the retirement age higher. It's like, damn, like by the time you retire, when you look at the average lifespan and then your retirement age,
it's your whole life.
Yo, you literally
90%
of your life, and then you probably maybe
it.
get 10, 15 years of just freedom or whatever the case.
A lot of people die after they don't work no more. So I mean, you done ran down your whole body. Like not everybody, but it's common.
They didn't enjoy the 401k, the Social Security, all the
Uncle
stuff
Sam
that they
laughing
say,
like, thank you.
You know, and it's like
right back.
That's been the biggest challenge. Like, okay, now I'm going to monetize my happiness. I'm gonna find whatever it is that makes me happy. I'm gonna figure out how to make money from that.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Shout out to you.
The American dream. But I think the biggest part for me is being successful. Like striving for success. Like what people paint as success. You know what I mean? Because you look at your life, and then especially with social media, you get on social media and you're looking at what other people got, and you're like, damn, like I'm not doing shit right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's been the biggest thing for me to overcome. And I think the way that I overcome it is just appreciating the little steps that I do take. You know what I mean? Each year. I know we had a show and y'all was talking about how at the end of the year, y'all look like what you didn't do, whatever. But I appreciate what I did do every year. And it's been making me happy, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And you definitely got to appreciate that because, I've been much more appreciative, even though I got a lot going on in my life.
Yeah.
Man, there's people in other parts of the world that
Bruh.
got nearly as
They
close
live in
to
the shock.
They would
access
love
and
this.
I-
Yeah.
This
yeah,
space
like,
right
what's
here.
going
They
on.
put
niggas
3
struggling
families up in
and shit
here.
like that. Motherfuckers
What?
really going through
Yeah.
it. And,
For
that's
real.
just like you said, what do you define success as? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what we have, people might find that as way successful. Like, and we're looking at fucking what Bill Gates got or some dumb shit. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I think just prioritizing your happiness should be the ultimate form of success. Like, your
Yeah.
health,
Yeah.
Let me get to this last topic, actually. What is harder to find, maintaining a relationship or being in a relationship? Which one is harder to...
Maintaining
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really easy to find a relationship. It's not that hard if you want to be in one.
Especially with social media.
I said I wanted to be in
yourself,
one.
man.
And no,
Well,
it
finding a
shouldn't.
good
It's hard for
You
me to find a relationship.
Why?
for
What do you
sure.
Why?
want?
Huh?
What do you want?
What makes it hard?
What
makes
do
it hard?
you want from
The
your person?
the dating pool, as people say, I mean, it got pee in it. So I mean, like, it's hard to find a good mate that you vibe with, you get along with, and even as as you go on through your relationship and the barriers start to fall, that y'all still, here with it. That's hard to find, in my opinion.
But I think that's what we're saying. Like, as hard as it is to even just find someone, maintaining it with that person,
I think once
is
you
even
find
harder.
once you find that, it should be easy to maintain it, though. I don't think a lot of people are finding that, and that's why it's hard to maintain.
That could be true.
Yeah.
Are you keeping your options open? Because, like I said before we started here, I just looked at the person next to me and was like, "What's up?"
But you were attracted to him.
Yeah, I mean, but I ain't know him from a can of paint. He was just sitting next to me. So I was like, all right. I mean, he was kind of really not my type. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go for the tradition, what I feel like is my type or who I want to be standing next to me. I'm going to go by vibes and feelings and how this person treats me. So it was like, all right, he's treating me good. So we're going to keep going. And now we're maintaining it, like we are trying to figure out how to spend time together, how to date times, where are we at with sex and kids and all that. That is all the things that we're trying to maintain while still being individuals and having our own careers and aspirations and goals. So that's why it makes it hard to maintain it because we only got 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just the type where it's like, if I see somebody and that's who I feel like, that's who I want, it's like, that's what it's about to be. Like, this is who I have my eyes on, and that's who I want. And I don't know, I feel like the world always works out to where we end up crossing each other's paths.
He's like, not for me.
So that's why I'm asking, so I'm curious to know, like, when what makes it challenging? Like, okay, you see someone you like, and then...
What's the approach?
I'm attracted to a lot of women. Like, women are beautiful, you know what I mean? But like, that doesn't mean that they're gonna be good mates in a relationship. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on, when we go out and we get to date and we get to know each other, how that aspect goes, if it's gonna continue. But after like a month or two, it's like, nah, this ain't it. I mean, and I'm not one to just rush into anything just because it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I really gotta feel you, like, in order to. I mean, I don't think I have a lot of high standards. Would you think I know you want to say something.
I was gonna say I feel like your standards are super high.
I'm just letting him speak right now.
You a little shallow, probably. You got a specific type. You got a type.
Wait,
I think you got a type.
How do you know he's shallow?
She assuming.
I'm assuming. I am. I'm making an assumption. You got a specific type, a specific woman you want it to be.
I don't think I got a specific type.
And if she don't fit that mold, that criteria, it's like, I don't want it.
Tell us. We might be able to help you.
On to something. That's all I'm gonna say.
And would you date somebody that you wouldn't normally go after? Would you completely remove the visual aspect of it, right? Let's say you like light-skinned girls. Would you then switch up and do dark skin?
Interesting that she said light-skinned girls.
She reading you?
Hello.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
gotta chill,
like,
bro.
I'm just,
Your wig shifting and shit. You gotta chill, bro. Like,
how you
Right
gonna
now,
know?
like-
If you don't open yourself up to other people, other cultures, other
But
vibes, other
I
women,
will
how you
say-
gonna find what you want?
I will say that I've tried to date outside my preference. You know what I mean?
You have?
You've
Yeah.
made an attempt.
I made attempts. Yeah, and
You've gone on
I-
more than
and
3
that's-
dates.
Yeah, for sure. I was
Okay,
talking.
okay.
I mean,
You have? No, I'm just unfamiliar. Go ahead, my fault. Like, I'm sorry.
so
Holding
anyway.
you accountable.
So anyway, he just being an asshole. But anyway, so yeah, I tried, and it just ain't work for me. So I mean, like,
Do you want to be in a relationship? Honestly,
Oh,
Ooh,
that's a
number
good
one.
question.
Do you
That's
want
That is
a
a great
relationship?
question.
That
People
is-
want the
That's a great
relationship.
Is
question.
your
Can you repeat
intention-
that question again?
do you want to be in a relationship?
Great question.
Yo, who answers this?
Great question. Make sure to
That
mic
is the
it.
first question. Do you
You
want?
good? You good now, bro?
I was good before.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, yeah. I mean,
Mm.
No.
at this point
Yeah,
right
this is
now,
mom's answer.
at this point right now, I don't know if that's what I'm striving for. You know what I mean? I think I'm
Then you shouldn't date.
So that sums it up.
Right.
Mm.
You're not
No,
gonna
but
find what you want.
when I was looking for a relationship, it wasn't working. So that's why I took this time for myself.
What's
Sure.
the difference between now and then, when you were and now that you're not?
Mm.
What's the difference?
Yeah,
This
what's the
nigga
difference
I
in
was
like a
life?
motherfucker.
Yeah, for real. I was actively looking and being open, and now
With the intentions,
Yeah, with
we're
the intention,
actively
yeah.
looking with the intentions of a long-term relationship with someone.
correctly.
Mhm.
And you went through the dating process
Mhm.
and you didn't find anyone that you had a connection with.
Correct.
So you decided that you no longer want to
Just take a
pursue
break.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Mhm.
I respect it. I respect it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's some healing I need to do on myself before I could, you know what I mean, meet the right person. 'Cause,
I ain't
you know,
gonna.
you are
That's real.
you are what you
speaking to
attract. Huh?
That's
The
real.
player always, you know
how,
what I mean?
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. Speaking of
Absolutely.
player.
Usually when you're
Whatever.
not looking is when you find the person.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
if
true.
I don't look for it, man, it might, you know what I mean, fall in my lap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But you never know. She could be sitting next to you one day. Might
She
have
could be, you know what I mean? And then she is. I'm gonna say, what's up? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And you said you're open to dating outside your preference, right?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I don't believe. I don't. Oh yeah, I do have a preference. So, yeah.
mhm.
You do have a type, you do have a preference. So
Yeah.
if a woman that is not your type or your preference approaches you,
Mhm.
would you at least give her a
Quiet.
try? You know what I mean? Would you?
Well, women don't
Looking
care
like
about
it's
open that
quiet.
Well,
Looking super quiet.
Mm.
He's loving
Yeah,
this.
I'm here for the conversation.
if a woman that's not my preference approaches me,
And she's like, "Hi, you know, I like what you're."
First of all,
wearing.
let's get
I
into
think
This
your
is a
preference. What are your
tricky
preferences? What are your top
concept.
five
I don't want to
preferences?
do that. I
What
don't
are
want to
your
do that to
preferences?
him
my
because I
top
don't want
five
it to be
preferences.
Yeah.
What you mean physically?
Yeah.
No,
Anything.
anything. in
What do you
women.
like? What is
Oh,
non-negotiable for you when it comes to a woman?
Physical, physical.
A natural woman.
Natural in what sense? Hair,
Like
nails,
I like hair.
body.
Not a lot of makeup, body. You know what I mean? I mean you can get your nails done and stuff, but
Wow.
Can wow,
Okay.
yeah, that I caught
Strict.
that real quick.
Okay, not
He said he already got
can.
rid of like 80%
saying
of the
it's a-
dating market.
I'm saying I don't have a
No,
problem
he's
with
not
nails.
saying
Like
it like
I'm not
that.
saying
I
like
know, we know,
you
we
could
proud
like
of it.
you have
can.
permission to do
It's
this. Like I'm saying
yeah.
like yeah, that's if you
All
do
right,
that, that's
she
cool.
decides to go
Yeah.
get the claws. You like, all right.
Yeah, I'm not tripping off it, but
right.
Yeah.
I
I'm
get
not
it.
I'm not even tripping if you wear wigs every now and then, but I prefer women with natural hair and stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everything is negotiable, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
80% of the dating market. Eliminated. I promise you. Like
Because
that.
even the girls with the good hair wearing wigs.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, as long as you know what I mean, leave the hair out sometimes for me, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Because
all I hear is physical.
Mhm.
Well, she asked
Loyal-
physical.
No, I said
Oh.
five. What
I
are your
said
top five
besides
preferences?
physical, I said outside of physical.
femininity is physical.
No.
Mm-mm.
That's
Femininity
about you.
is
That's
an
virtue.
aura,
Yeah.
energy,
That was
that's
my
an
second.
aura.
Yeah.
You're not
Okay.
listening, huh?
Okay.
That's a good
That's
one.
the second
Okay. Someone that listens to me, you know. Loyalty, of course. Nurturer. Somebody that's caring. And if I'm being honest, I do like
Go ahead, it's a
I
safe space.
I do like I do like big butts, right? So I mean, that will be in my
You
preference.
hungry?
Yeah.
So you're not.
My
it's
name
not
ain't Jew. Fuck
based
outta
on
here.
so it's not based on a complexion.
Nah, I don't have a complexion on it.
You said you
Even though they would.
You say you
they,
don't?
They
Don't
would.
say they.
You say that too sometimes though. Like You just be going with the joke. Well, it's him. It's him for sure.
I'm just going off what your sister said, but like, oh my fault. Like she was on the couch and she.
You want to call her? You want to call her right now?
Them starlets.
Call my sister.
He like
If
them.
you
That's what
got a
it seems
preference?
Like them star tenders.
My sister don't know my preference, bro. Like,
I mean, she
does.
had
my
an
sister
answer.
my sister only seen who I bring home. That doesn't mean that's my
That's a
preference.
pretty good.
What?
That
That's
sounds like
a pretty
evidence.
good-
Bring her home,
Huh?
then.
Evidence of support.
Yeah.
But like I said, I haven't been in a lot of relationships, so I only bring home like 2 people. Like, so
I'm saying
that's
that-
not my preference. If those are the 2 people I bring home, like,
Yo, you going to Smithers over
Now,
there.
when you say loyalty, because that's always something that men say, I want,
Mhm.
who's loyal. Define loyalty. What is the aspect of loyalty do you?
like
Damn.
A lot of people don't know what loyalty
How you gonna
is.
define
No.
loyalty?
A lot of people
like,
don't know what it is.
No.
yeah.
Really. That's
What
why
is
you
your-
haven't found it. Because a lot of people don't
Loyalty
live
in what
with that
sense?
virtue.
Okay, not cheating. Okay, but what else?
somebody that I could put my trust in. Like, I feel comfortable knowing that she's not gonna do anything that's not in my best interest. You know what I mean?
So you leaving the phone on the table unlocked?
Am I doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that in a relationship for sure. In a relationship. In
relationship.
relationship, yeah.
Not
For
the
sure.
talking stage.
Yeah. Not the talking stage.
Niggas
But
ain't
do you
rappers.
feel like that has, like the whole phone thing, do you feel like that is a part of the loyalty virtue?
Yes.
Like being able to...
Oh, and being able to leave your phone
Yeah.
unlocked?
I feel like that's so new. Like, I don't know. It's so new age to me where it's like...
That's
I
rapper
mean, a phone is a big part of everybody's life. Like,
Right.
There's a level of trust there, like,
Yeah, like-
where you don't feel like you have nothing to worry about, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like you should have nothing to worry about. But I also think just like going through someone's phone regularly, looking for something
Regularly?
is
My
kind of
God,
weird.
no.
But that's what I'm
okay,
saying.
okay.
If you feel like you got to do that, then you don't trust
Yeah.
that person.
Person
Okay. So
shouldn't
that's
be
why I
with
was
them.
asking.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
maybe trust and loyalty kind of go hand in hand then.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
okay. I like how
So
we
you
just
want-
had this whole like breakdown, this whole therapy session with you, real quick. Like,
Yeah, man. You welcome.
You're
Listen,
gonna
we'll
find
send you our
her.
invoice.
I believe it. I believe it.
think
yeah.
yeah.
I hope you actively looking too, because you know, like,
Well, he said he's taking a
I
break.
said I'm taking a
healing.
break.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, I'm
yeah,
healing.
you've been
How
on
long
that-
you was on the break?
Yeah, you've been on a hot boy summer for quite a lot of summers now.
Wait, what's going on? How long has the break been? I
Yeah.
thought it was a new thing.
This year.
Are
Oh,
you?
good for
Are
you.
you? During this break, are you abstinent? Are you celibate? Oh, you breaking backs. You're just not breaking into a relationship. I got you. I got
Speaking
you.
of the guy, like, you can't trust the guy that smiles like that. Now, I think for me, real quick,
Yes, finding
yeah,
or
I
maintaining.
think it's equally like, you know, finding is hard and then maintaining. But I would have to lean more towards maintaining because there's so much nuances to just a relationship. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
you know, people are constantly evolving, people are changing. You have to learn how to adapt with them. I don't think we are taught enough about the nuances of relationship, how to adapt with somebody. Like people are changing. And I think that part is, you know, once you get past the surface level of relationship, then it goes into a deeper level. Now you got to worry about finances together. You got to worry about parenting styles. And like, it's more than just like, you know, if we're compatible with each other, because we can be in certain aspects, but then, you know, mentally we might constantly evolve. Like, I know women's bodies are constantly changing. Their moods are constantly changing. I don't think men are made aware enough about, you know, women's different, you know, moods and emotional states. And, you know, just as men too, men can come off very simple. Like we're very stoic or we don't show emotions, whatever the case is. But there's a lot that we deal with. And maybe that even could be a detriment to us because we come off so emotionless that women feel like maybe they don't have to, you know, try to break in or try to figure out him, you know, emotionally. And, that's leaving a void there because now he feels like, damn, I can't open up to anybody. Especially nowadays, I feel like women want men to open up, and then when they open up, now it becomes like
You open it up too much.
yeah, you open it up too much. So now where men are trying to find that balance of, you know, not being stoic, but then also being able to be vulnerable enough to open up to a woman. And that's a hard task for men to do because, you know, that when you do open up to a woman, I think we all been there, and that woman has used it against you. It's tough, like, you know what I mean. So
That is
you know,
true.
so I would say both of them is equal, man. But I would have to lean more towards maintaining a relationship.
I would even say, you know, starting a relationship. I don't think a lot of us look for what we really want. A lot of us settle for what we think we want or what somebody say we should want. You know what I mean? A lot of people would say, oh, you should be with this person because, or you looking at somebody else's life and you see that they look happy and you just want that same kind of life. A lot of us, I'm not even going to speak on women. I'm going to just say a lot of men will just settle for a woman that would give him enough attention. You get what I'm saying? Whether it's sexual or, speaking to them, a lot of men would just settle with a woman that just listening to them or hearing them out or following their directions because it's so uncommon for a lot of us. So,
I have a question. How do you guys start your relationship? How do you let your woman know that now this is the beginning of a long-term relationship?
That is tough because I rarely have asked a woman, like, do you want to be my girlfriend? I feel like I ain't do that since like high school or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? But I think after a while, enough talking, and that's probably me, just a lack of communication on my end, but it just feels like we have graduated to a state of where we just automatically know that we are locked in, like, you know what I mean? So
how do you know?
How do you know? That's what I'm saying. It's an assumption.
You have an intentional conversation.
I'm like, yeah, you're not.
Because for the ladies,
I think after a while, it is intentional because it just comes down because I never said it verbally. Then it gets to a point like, are we in a relationship, or it's just that sometimes it slipped. Like I was talking to somebody and then I was talking to somebody, they end up calling me the man, and they had told it to like it was a close friend situation, like we were talking for a minute, like, you know what I mean? So when she gave me that title, I didn't push back.
Did you hear what she asked you though?
Huh?
Did you hear what she asked you though?
Yeah, because he
Are you her man? Are you her man?
Are you her man? Yes or no? Simple.
I would say yes, I was. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
The laugh and then the I would say is crazy.
Because we were in that stage where we were getting to know each other. We already took those steps, you know what I mean? So it was. But
if she's saying that you are her man, why are you saying I would say that? Because is there a disconnect?
No, I'm just saying I agree with her. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it wasn't like, again, it wasn't something where I was like, yo, do you want to be my girl? Like, it was just, she just ended up saying that, and then it was shared to me, and I was like, you know what, it makes sense. It just was never communicated. Like,
I guess I am.
Like, ladies, do you prefer him to ask or to have that conversation and say, you are now my girlfriend, or will you be my girlfriend, or make that very clear?
For me, if a man can't have that initial conversation, that shows where he is in his communication. If he can't have that conversation with me, I want you to be my girl, then how are we having harder conversations?
But I would find it truly valuable if a woman could tell me.
You gotta put that phone on.
It's the watch, bro.
It kind of sounds.
But man's Apple Watch.
But anyway, like I said, I would find it valuable if a woman could say, "Hey, I don't know where we're at right now, but I would really like to be in a relationship with you."
Oh,
because I don't think it's solely on a man.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do think it's important that a man say it as well. But if a woman took that initiative, then, maybe sometime we're in our head like, she not, looking for this or whatever.
Or she already know what's up.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think communication can come both ways.
And so that's where I go back to the whole idea that we're equal, where it's like we can both show up in the same way for certain things. So communication across the board, we should both be able to communicate certain things. Now, should one person be initiating everything? No, but I love a check-in. Like I'm always like,
yes.
Let's check in really quick. Like, like I know when we first started, we was doing that. And now it's kind of like, we want to do this, where do we see this going?
Every 30 days.
Depends on where the check-in happens. Like, if it was like a weekend or some shit, you try to check in, I'm like, yo, bro.
No.
Yeah, no, it has to be like,
every 30 days
mutual, for me. Like, I feel like the reason for a check-in would be the assumed feelings. And then the check-in is to make sure that those assumed feelings are what they are. And I think that the communication piece in general is what makes both starting and maintaining relationships so hard, because it's like, okay, you have to constantly communicate through those changing things. So you're going through something, you're changing into a whole different man than you were 4 months ago when we started talking, and I'm turning into a whole different woman, and I have to learn to communicate with that new man as this new woman. And it can get really, you just have to like really want to be in the relationship. And I think for me, that's like what you always have to ask yourself, like, do I want to be in this? Do I want to be in this? Because it takes effort. And the time that you're investing into that is time that's taken away from other things. And so you constantly have to audit, like, is this working for me? Is this working for me? Is this something that I'm willing to put more into?
Yeah,
especially ahead of the more serious things like children and marriage.
Right.
And you gotta want the relationship at the same time. Y'all gotta both want to be in that space at the same time. One person can't be off than the other, because then it becomes a situationship. Because now you're waiting for him to catch up to where you at.
No, timing is everything. I always say right person, wrong time is still wrong person.
Yeah.
So if you're not, like, for example, for you, you're in what sounds like a healing journey and you are, figuring things out, which is amazing. Salute you for that. A lot of men aren't doing that. Right now you could meet your person, but you're not in a headspace right now to be dating. And so she could be everything that you need or want, but since you're not there yet, she seems like she's not that.
It won't be enough.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Again, we appreciate y'all for being on the show. Let them know where they can follow you at.
Butte by Lee. So it's BEAUTE by Lee. Instagram.
She got it like that on IG.
Imani was here, so it's IIMANIWASEHERE. My bad.
It'll be.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll tag you.
My bad.
Word like a spelling bee, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, cop the merch, man. Dailyrapupcrew.co.
For sure.
Join the membership and listen to the podcast audio every Tuesday, 6 a.m. Appreciate y'all, man.
Peace.